what's the gift from the critic? Why is it there? The inner critic is our inner support with a massive communication problem, and the inner critic doesn't have to be negative. The negative voice it's an immature and quite unrefined expression of something very beautiful. So that's which again, if we try to get rid of the inner critic, we can't.
Yeah.
Because the inner critic is an instinctual program that is hardwired into our organism.
Mm-hmm.
Back to what I said beginning with the survival. So the inner critic is not going away. We cannot get rid of it. So trying to get rid of it, we can try that our whole lives. So rather than trying to get rid of it, what happens when I open up to it, but I try to help it, like, okay, what do you really want? Like, what are you trying to tell me by saying, I'm a fucked up human being? Like, what do you mean when you say that? Because, so rather than trying to get rid of the critic, trying to understand the critic. And to see that it's a very twisted expression of love. And so the inner critic can become our inner support, which is the good news. The inner critic is the thing that says, Robin, maybe this wasn't exactly your, maybe what you said there wasn't really what you truly meant. It's like, yeah, I was a little bit in anger, actually. I realized that. And when I see that, there's a moment of grief of like, oh, I wasn't expressing my love in that moment. I was expressing anger and judgment. Thank you, inner support, for helping me see that and for processing and to return, helping me back to my heart. And now I can see that actually what I really wanted to say was this. So that's a kind inner critic that's supporting me. But in the unrefined version, that voice is saying, Robin, you're such a fucking idiot for saying like that. Now you made them feel bad and you're terrible and now they are suffering and they're never going to forgive you and It spins up a very, very negative narrative. But the ultimate message is actually a positive one. It's like, I noticed that you were not in your heart that moment. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I noticed and now I'm letting you know. If we go back to the example of don't cross the road, there's a part of our mind, which I call the super ego, that says, don't cross the road, got it. And then next day we do it again and mama says, don't cross the road like that. Oh, okay, I got it. Don't cross the road. Crossing the road is wrong. And then we learn you need to look to both sides. So that becomes an inner guidance that says, Jorge, if you want to survive, don't run into the road. So when you're running and you see the road, when you're 5, you're like, right. I have a son now, he's 7, and he has learned that when he gets close to the road, he slows down and stops. And then he looks back to show me, look, I stopped here, So his super ego has helped him learn that here you stop. Because 1, your father and mother won't get mad at you and yell at you, and you will survive and not be driven over by a car. So he has understood that now. Let's fast forward to this little child being 30.
Yeah.
And they run into the road and they're hit by a car. Then that voice that learned you shouldn't run into the road is saying, fuck, man, why did you run into the road? You know you shouldn't do that. You're stupid, whatever, so that voice, which is here to help us to learn the rules and to survive, if we start breaking those rules, it thinks now it's dangerous because now you're, like safety first, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we start breaking those rules, and we're not listening to that voice that says, hey, Jorge, maybe you shouldn't run into the road. And you're like, fuck it, I'm going. Like, no, fuck it, don't do it. You're like, I'm going for it. Then it's like, what are you, fucking idiot? Stop. You're going to ruin everything. No. It turns up the volume.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the nasty negative critic is the same survival voice, just you've cranked up the volume now. So it's to understand that the critic, we just need to dial it down.